it is Svechnikov. He'll get it to Jarvis. Jarvis waiting. Still hanging on. He turns and scores! Seth Jarvis knocks it at one. Palat, he'll lose it. Natchez back out. Shot. Score! It's October. Let's see a ghost. Shane Gostisbehere. 2-1 Carolina. That's the halfway point of the third period. Orlov shot. The score! Deflected out in front. And welcome to the National. His first NHL goal. Jackson Blake.
Does everybody feel better? Does everybody feel better? Yes, of course you do. Welcome to the Canes Corner podcast. I am Adam Gold. Thank you very much for spending a little bit more of your Tuesday evening after the Hurricanes beat the New Jersey Devils 4-2 here at Lenovo Center. I don't think I screwed that up tonight. I think I called it Lenovo Center every single time. I'm getting it. Thank you again. We're brought to you by the Aluminum Company of North Carolina. If it's for the exterior of your home, you can find it at the Aluminum Company of North Carolina on Hamlin Road in Durham. No place like it. Sammy Hanna and his crew do an incredible job. All right, we got a bunch of things I want to get to. I'm going to do this 30 minutes, trying to keep all of these for your dog walk, commute, wherever you need to go. And a reminder to subscribe, like, share, tell your friends, leave a comment. I got to be better about reading the comments, whether you're commenting on this particular episode of the show or you want to just leave comments like a review. You are more than welcome to do that. If you leave us a good review, I don't know, leave us a 6-star review. Then I'm more than happy to send you $1 or at least read it. One of the two. All right, let's get to the game. Now, I said it started off with, does everybody feel better? Friday was a bummer for a lot of people. Friday was a real bummer. I mean, I was bummed by it because it was a flat performance in the home opener. And I don't know what, the reason is for that. Could have been that the, team hadn't played in a week. Who knows? But it wasn't a good performance against the Lightning on Friday night. And then you don't play the game Saturday. Understandably, nobody's complaining about that. And they ended up getting 3 days of practice in. I think they had Saturday off and they practiced Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, right? So they got 3 good days of practice in. And maybe words were said. Maybe something was mentioned by the head coach. He probably didn't have to. And he sort of said after the game, after the opener, it was good to see Aho play well. And Rod was like, I am never worried about that guy. I think that's one of the things about Sebastian that people forget is that, he's not a McDavid or a Matthews. He's not one of those guys. But because he is a super smart player and always plays hard, Rod's not worried about it. He's going to play the right way. Every once in a while it gets too fancy, like a lot of Carolina Hurricanes. Not too many of them. We are not blessed on this roster with a ton of meat and potatoes. So every once in a while we get a little too cute and too pass happy, and it comes back to bite us. But I thought Aho was excellent tonight. I thought he was junk on Friday, but I thought he was excellent tonight. Not necessarily. I mean, there's a lot of competition for stars tonight, if you ask me. There were probably 10 guys that could have gotten a star. And online, I gave the stars to Jarvis, Burns, and Gostisbehere. On the post-game show, I gave it to Svechnikov because he really created the Jarvis goal, and I thought he was the best player on the ice in the first period. I could have given a star to Eric Robinson tonight. Legit. I mean, I know Jackson Blake scored his first goal, but he got the game's first star in the building because, it's a TV show. But, I mean, he was good tonight. Jack Drury was good tonight. The Stahl, Martinook, Carrier line was good tonight. All 6 defensemen were good tonight. Dmitry Orlov was good. He had one tough moment, but the Hurricanes survived it. I thought Chatfield was good tonight. I thought Burns and Slavin were awesome tonight. And one of the things we are going to talk about in a couple minutes is the Ghost Walker tandem on the blue line, which pretty good additions to the team. I'll just say that. All right, I want to start here, and as Samuel points out in the chat, by all means, jump in the chat and say stuff. Tell me where you're from, by the way, also. Shout out to, last year we had people. Oh, look, my friend from Australia is back. Mikhailov, my man. Let us know where you're from. Checking in from wherever. So, but Samuel says it felt like Canes hockey tonight. That's where I want to start, because it was. As I said to Walt Ruff in the first intermission, I said, felt very Canesy, didn't it? And it was. It was very Canesy tonight. All 3 non-empty net goals were products of the forecheck. All 3. And when that kind of stuff leads to goals, it's so much easier to reinforce it. And when the Hurricanes are on their game, that's how it happens. So briefly, let's go through it. How did the Jarvis goal that made it 1-1 happen? That was Andrei Svechnikov behind the net, stealing Dougie Hamilton's lunch and creating the opportunity for Jarvis. Dougie didn't cover himself in glory tonight. We miss Dougie. I'm sure some of you do. Second goal, the Gostisbehere goal. That was a sustained shift, by the way. Best shift of the night for the Kokaniemi, Necas, Roslovic line. That whole play started with Marty Necas throwing a check. I forget who he checked, but it dislodged the puck, and even though Carolina didn't gain possession of the puck there, it forced a little bit of a fumble, and then Carolina could then get on the forecheck, and then Kokaniemi really occupying 2 players, Roslovic along in support, and then the puck, kind of squeezes out to Necas, who ducks below the face-off circle, gets it up to Gostisbehere, top of the circle, high slot, and it becomes the goal. So, again, the forecheck really helps. It creates the opportunity. The Blake goal, again, that's pressure in the defensive end. Eric Robinson along the wall seals it off. The puck rolls through Robinson, and again, I forget which New Jersey Devil was there. It gets out to Orlov, who sees Jackson Blake streaking across in front of Jacob Markstrom. He flings it at the net. Blake gets his stick, deflects it over Markstrom's glove, 3-1. All 3 goals, the product of Carolina Hurricanes hockey. So when Rod says this is the way we do it, and you get 4 lines doing it, it's so easy to reinforce. And just like the 1 goal against Tampa, that's how it happened. Martinook hounding Brandon Hagel, who gave away the puck to William Carrier, who wrapped it around to Jordan Stahl, top of the net. Boom. That's your goal out of the forecheck. Hurricanes have 5 goals on the season, 1 into an empty net, the other 4 all created by the forecheck. There's nothing pretty. There's nothing end-to-end fancy hockey. The Devils' goal was in transition. It was a turnover in the just inside the blue line by Carolina. Jacob Slavin with a rare, ill-advised pinch, which created the opportunity. And I thought, and we'll get to Kochetkov later, I thought the only bad moment for Piotr, because I know it's Jack Hughes, but he wasn't screened. He had a clear look at it, and you really want him to save that. But Jack Hughes, an elite goal scorer. We're not going to go completely bonkers with that one. By the way, shouts to Danville, Virginia. I will simply ask this question. If you know the Covington brothers, tell them I said hi. I'm assuming that Al and Keita still live. Some of you may not know who I'm talking about. They played football at Maryland, and they were in my class. So go if you know the Covingtons, go say hi. Yeah, if you know Al and Keita, go say hi. I wonder if Al Covington is still raising dogs. He was a big dog raiser. All right, let's move on, and let's get to Ghost Walker as a nice pair. We were familiar with Shane Gostisbehere, and when I talked to Tim Gleason before the season, I made a point because two reasons. One, Shea and Pesci had been such a stalwart here that it was they were always going to be hard to replace. And I have said over and over again that Gostisbehere and Walker are not the replacement for Shea and Pesci. The replacement is really Orlov and Chatfield, who should bump up and claim most of those minutes. But here's what's going to happen. If Shane Gostisbehere and Sean Walker play the way they played tonight, the way they played really in game one, I thought the blue line was good in game one. If they play like this, Carolina's going to have, Rob Brind'Amour is going to be able to essentially say, yeah, we have a top pair. It's Slavin and Burns. And again, I will reiterate, I thought Burns was excellent again tonight. I thought he was good in game one. The only tough moment was the penalty, the hooking penalty, when he got behind the play. But I thought Brent Burns was excellent tonight. He got one of my 3 stars. I think you could have given the stars to a lot of players. Slavin deserved a star. Really, all 6 guys on the blue line were really good tonight. But for me, the Orlov and Chatfield are, theoretically get that responsibility, but Gostisbehere and Walker are such good skaters. They covered for each other really well tonight. I thought Gostisbehere's best play, even though he scored the goal, and he did a lot of other good things offensively, I thought Gostisbehere, his best play was breaking up the 2-on-1. Not only did he take away the pass, but he went out into the shooter, and he forced the shooter, which might have been Dawson Mercer. I don't know. He just forced the shooter further away from the play. It made it so easy on Pyotr Kochetkov to deal with it. There was no pass to be made. It's just that pair is going to be good. Now, they're not the biggest pair in the world. So, and that is to me, the only downside of that pair is that they're both under, I think Gostisbehere is under 6 feet. But even so, he's not a physical player. I think Walker can play physical, but he's basically a skater and a good one. And I think we're going to get sneaky offense from Walker as well as what you're going to get from Gostisbehere. But Shane had, 6 shots on goal tonight. I thought he had a dynamite game. The Stahl line. Again, Jordan wasn't great in the faceoff circle tonight. He was just under 500. But for 3 periods, when you watch them play, I wouldn't want to play against them. There's no way I would want to play against Stahl, Martinook, and Carrier. They just play heavy. They play smart. They are relentless. They know what they're doing. And this is why Rod, in a perfect world, will keep them together for the duration. He didn't want to break him up last year, but he felt like he had to create other advantages for the Hurricanes. And there were times where they had lines that just were not working. And so Rod completely mixed it all up. We got to the playoffs, and I know Rod put lines out there every night. He goes, I don't really like this, because in his heart of hearts, he wanted to have last year Stahl, Martinook, and Fost. Interesting aside, as I just kind of break from what I wanted to talk about, and it will lead into something that I'm going to keep an eye on, and I'll just mention it and move on. I loved Drury centering Martinook and Natchez in the playoffs last year. So, and I am one of those people that you may dislike, because I don't dislike when Jordan Martinook plays up in the lineup. Would I do it for 2 months? No. But would I do it for 2 weeks? Yes. I think Martinook can play up. Again, forever? No. He doesn't have the skill to play with Aho and Jarvis. But while I think that top line was outstanding tonight, led by Svechnikov, in my opinion, but I thought Jarvis and Aho were also very good. Jarvis, of course, scored the goal. But if that line kind of veers off course, I would not hesitate for a second to put Martinook up with Aho and Jarvis. I just think Jordan creates chaos. He unnerves a defense because of the way he plays. And I think that benefits high caliber players. And I'm pretty sure that we all agree that 20 and 24 are high caliber players. But back to the Stahl line. They are the copy machine, man. They just crank out the same looking shift time and time and time and time again. For 2 periods tonight, we did not hear, and really for most of the game, we did not hear from Nico Hischier. For 2 periods. I thought the Devils' best period was the 3rd period, to be honest. But for 2 periods, we didn't hear from them. It's because all we heard is, oh, look at that. Stahl, Martinook, and Carrier have the puck in front of Jacob Markstrom again. I thought the Drury line was very good tonight. And I thought the best player on the Drury line was Eric Robinson. Robinson plays in a way that is very hurricane-y. He's big. He's fast. He knows what he's doing. He created the 3rd goal, as we went through before, because he read the play, and rather than try to jump in front of, forget who it was for New Jersey, and get the puck, he realized, I'm just going to cut him off. And I couldn't tell, did he lift his stick or whatever, because the puck rolls out to Orlov at the point. He flings it at the net. Jackson Blake deflects it home for the goal. But it all happened with Eric Robinson's forecheck. I, again, thought he was outstanding. He had 3 pretty good scoring opportunities. They didn't all register, end up in shots. And it's tough to have a scoring chance without a shot. And I don't even think you register it that way. But there were dangerous opportunities when Eric Robinson was on the ice. And again, I thought Jack Drew was good, and it was cool to see Jackson Blake get his first goal. You can tell he can play here. I do worry a ton that he's going to get, they're going to be super physical with him. And can he handle it? Because that, to me, is the only thing. I'm not worried about the game being too fast for him. At some point, he's going to get rattled around, and we'll see how he handles that. The Devils didn't do a lot of rattling around tonight. We'll get to one element of that in a second. I feel bad for Blake because the penalty on him, first of all, you can't call that a trip because there wasn't a trip. If there's anything there, it's a hold. But I believe, and I don't remember who the Devil was that went down. I believe that was more like, was it a dive? I just think the guy fell. But I don't believe he was dragged down. I don't believe he was tripped. I think that was a bad call. Then when Martinook gets the puck just inside the blue line and tries to clear it long, and he either cleared it into the Jumbotron, which is out of play, or he cleared it over the ice behind Markstrom. The Hurricanes are down 2 men for, more than a minute. I think it was like a minute 15 of 5-on-3 time for the Devils when they scored. And if you were watching TV, Rod lost it. He was screaming at the referee that made the call, and he wasn't screaming about the Martinook dog call. He was still screaming about the first call, the one on Blake. And he says, the problem is the first bad call. And because of that bad call, it led to the Hurricanes being shorthanded, which led to the Martinook dog call. So that to me was the issue there. That's what Rod was yelling at. And I agree. I think it's a bad call. In my opinion, that's a call that was made because the score was 3-1. I'll throw him a bone. It might have been a penalty. It's not a good call. So here's what Rod is going to say when the next time I speak to him later in the week. This is why we need replay, because that's a hard call to make. It's a hard call to get right. This is why we go to replay. And look, I'm not advocating for this. This is what he is advocating. We can tell in 2 seconds, and he's probably right about that. We're not going to unduly delay, but we've already stopped play because they called a bogus penalty. So we can go to video and say, video can go, yeah, that ain't a trip. So Jackson Blake, come back onto the ice. Let's drop the puck at center ice and play on. Is that better? Is that better than dealing with bad calls as long as it doesn't unduly delay play? I don't know. You would have to figure out and I'm going to bring in soccer parlance, clear and obvious, right? It must be clear and obvious. I'm channeling Mikel Arteta right now in my brain. So I felt bad with him being in the box. That leads to the Martinook penalty, and then it leads to the Hischier goal that made it 3-2. Canes killed off the remaining minute or so of the 5-on-4 easily. The 5-on-4 penalty kill, other than losing 2 offensive zone faceoffs or defensive zone faceoffs against Tampa, has been really good because I didn't think the Devils were all that good on the power play tonight. Real quick to Pyotr Kochetkov. We can have the debate about Kochetkov versus Anderson. If we're being honest, let's take last year out of the equation, even though I know for many of us, myself included, by the way, I had seen enough. I thought the team needed to move on without Freddie and use Kochetkov with another goalie in tandem. I still think that by the end of the season, Pyotr will be the de facto number 1, and he'll start the first game of the playoffs. That's what I believe. Because I think he ultimately, at this stage, this will be his 4th season in the NHL. 4th? Well, 3rd real season in the NHL. Cameo 3 years ago. So to me, this is his 4th season in the NHL, or 3rd full season. And I personally believe his higher end is better than Anderson's higher end. His floor might be a little lower than Anderson's floor, but based on what we saw last year, I don't think so. With that said, if we're being honest, if they were judging based on preseason performance in games, I thought Anderson was a shade better than Kochetkov. They were both excellent. Shade better than Kochetkov in the 2 preseason games that each played. And based on 2 games that I watched, I thought they were pretty similar. so far through 60 minutes each. I thought Anderson was excellent, except the second goal on Friday night can't go in. And I think Kochetkov was excellent, except I think the first one's a bad goal. The bad is maybe not the right way to say it, because it wasn't like Jack Hughes was well out. He certainly was closer to the net than Nikita Kucherov. But you get a good look at that goal, man, that's a 5-hole goal. You got to be able to shut that down. With that said, Kochetkov made a bunch of really good saves tonight. I think he also played the game pretty smart, melted it down when he had to, found pucks. It's the one thing that, actually neither goalie does well, in my opinion, is locate and cover pucks up in front of them. We see a lot of situations where the puck is, almost put back into dangerous areas because both Kochetkov and Anderson have trouble melting down the play. But Piotr was really good, other than the first goal, which again, Jack Hughes is sort of one of those offensive players. Other than that, thought he was good the whole night. Made big saves. The save he made a few minutes after the goal that made it 1-0 on, who was that? Was that Seamus Casey, who Kochetkov had to get over and then kick the right pad out because Casey was trying to shoot far post. And that was a really good save. A really good save. So good to see Kochetkov play well. Been a while since he played, too, because he didn't play on Friday, and he didn't play since, which one was it? Did he play, the week before then? 2 weeks? Almost 2 weeks? It might be 2 weeks from today, like right about now when he last played. I ramble. And finally to this. And this is nothing other than, I don't know, self-indulgent. So I apologize in advance. I know that there is a group of people that believe that Dougie Hamilton hung the moon. Dougie is a great offensive player. There's no question about that. He had some good moments today offensively for New Jersey. Really good moments offensively. But he was absolutely responsible for 2 of the goals that the Hurricanes scored. He had the puck stolen from him by Svechnikov. You got to be better on the puck behind your own net. And he lost the puck. And really, more than anything, just kind of wandered on the Blake goal. I'm not really sure where he was, just kind of skating around doing figure eights and pirouettes. Like, you just have to be able to play in your own end. And it's not his forte. I get it. It's not what Dougie does. But ESPN.com did a top 100 players in the NHL. And so I went through it. Just 2 Hurricanes on that list, by the way. Aho was 19th, which may or may not be where he belongs, not even complaining. For my money, may be a little high, but whatever. Slavin was 96th in the NHL. And I got to that, like, wait, what? 96th? Are there no defensemen on this list? He was the 23rd ranked defenseman in the NHL by ESPN.com. And I thought, interesting. So do you have to be like a 50-point scorer to be considered a good defenseman? There ain't 22 defensemen in the National Hockey League better than Jacob Slavin. No way, no how. Ain't 22 of them. I'm not saying Jacob Slavin's the best defenseman in the league. Defensively, he's up there. I'll even give this player, former Hurricane prospect, a shout. I'm not sure Gustav Forsling isn't maybe a shade ahead of Jacob. I think Forsling is awesome. But my gosh, some of the players they put ahead of Jacob Slavin. I think Luke Hughes was ahead of Jacob Slavin. Are you joking? Anyway, those lists they're basically created to piss people off. I wasn't pissed off at it. I just laughed. I'm like, you people are nuts. Anyway, number 7 was pretty elite tonight. He was pretty elite tonight. So there we go. Yeah, I was blown away by that. All right, and that'll do it for us. Again, everybody cool? Everybody good? We're done with the gloom and doom of 4-1 Tampa, and we are now feeling good about things with the win over New Jersey. Bigger picture, big game for the Hurricanes tonight. You had to wait to open the season. Then, because of the postponement, you have to wait 3 more days to erase the taste of the 4-1 loss and the performance, more than the loss, the performance. Like, if the Devils had somehow come back and tied it on the power play, made it 3-3, and then won it in overtime or a shootout, I believe that Rod Brindamore would have been thrilled with the way his team played the game. Because that's what I was. I thought Carolina played a great game. But they got the result from playing the great game. And when you're a great team, and I think this team can be a great team, then when you play the way you're supposed to play, the results are going to follow way more often than not. Hockey is one of those games where it might not work out, but over the long run, the percentages are in your favor that it's going to. Carolina dominated the game tonight. They were always going to win it playing the way they played. I still think the Devils have the best roster, if not Florida, in the Eastern Conference. But the way Carolina played tonight, there ain't anybody that they can't beat. There you go. And we're done. Appreciate you hanging out. This has been the Canes Corner podcast brought to us by the Aluminum Company of North Carolina. If it is for the exterior of your home, you can find it at the Aluminum Company of North Carolina. And Sammy and his crew will be happy to take your call and improve your house from the outside. Friday night, Canes are in Pittsburgh. They start that 6-game fried food road trip. We will talk to you after the Canes and the Penguins. Might be a little chilly on the back porch, but we're still going to be here for you. Until then, I appreciate your time. Good night.